The IORA Cup Series comes to its final race of 2024, and the championship fight is at a boiling point. With 2 races remaining in the standings for Season 6, 4 drivers are within 17 points of the championship lead. Right now, the top 2 only split by 8. Tonight, at the virtual Iowa Speedway, things could change, swinging in either the leader's favor or any of the 3 drivers that are just behind him. We'll figure that out, though, in about 200 laps time. Welcome back live on FTN Broadcasting to coverage of the IORA Cup Series Season 6, Race 14. The penultimate round of the season brings us to the cornfield. Welcome back to Newton, Iowa. This is the 7/8 of a mile circuit, the Iowa Speedway. Drivers are currently taking qualifying times, 21 of which have registered so far, and it looks like about half of them have taken at least one time on the track as we take a look downstairs. I'll be your host for tonight's broadcast. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing. Tonight is due to be a thriller with our best drivers coming back. Of course, those championship contenders looking to prove they have what it takes. And currently, they're all on the circuit, so let's take a look at them right now and see exactly what's going on. Jim Thurston, one of the many. There's the 96. He's gotten himself on the circuit. Daniel Mosteller in the 87 up to the 4th spot. And Jackson Carr, that number 83, getting up into P8. The small circuit calls for quick lap times, and a lot of laps are due to be run. Having a total, of course, on the night of 200, it's going to be an intense event that goes from flag to flag, hopefully with few interruptions. Right now, Jackson Carr going to find himself P8 on the order. River Page still going to have himself at the pole position with time to spare. 2 minutes remaining, and your defending champion is all the way at the top of the pile. Chase Schaefer then going to find himself second, although it looks like very few others are on the track. Aiden Walker is one of which. Walker right now is going to find himself coming across the line to end his first lap. And as Aiden does so, he's going to put himself up to a nice 5th position. So the number 93 getting up inside the top 5 rather quick. Then from there, you're going to have Jackson Carr, Jason Semedo, Jacque Carter also in the mix as well. A lot of very familiar faces getting their chances right now. And currently, looks like many of which still with 1 lap to spare, just like Aiden Walker. Walker comes across the line, a 23.465. Still going to keep him up in P4. No improvement from there. Christian Delgado, part-time driver. Now he's on the circuit looking for a little bit more. As Delgado gets on his way, River Page leading with a quick speed of 136.57 miles an hour across the whole lap. Chase Schaefer only a few tenths of a mile an hour behind, just to show how close it is between these top drivers and their companions. So currently, up at the front of the field, competition is tight. Not expecting that to change in the slightest as it goes on, but at the top of the board, new man on the front row. Enter Vincent Guecci. Vinny getting that number 88 up to P2 with just 30 seconds left. That was his first lap. He's got a chance to best it. Only a tenth of a mile an hour off across the whole lap. The difference that time by was 19 thousandths of a second. This time by, not enough. Guecci slightly slower on that last lap. Nevertheless, a very impressive time puts the 88 up to second. And ending qualifying with a bang, Guecci gets up to P2. Delgado and Deitch still on the track, but no signs of progress for either of which they're going to have to head down to pit road and call it a run. Qualifying as concluded, 200 laps await the IORA Cup Series for our final race of the year and our second to last race of the championship. Just to clarify, we're coming back in 2 weeks to settle the series on January 2nd, 2025. So we'll enter the new year with a championship finale. Some high stakes to kick off January, and River Page is one of those drivers who needs a good run tonight. The reason is, well, he's still in the championship hunt, 17 points back. Your defending champion after an amazing event last week. Of course, Page getting himself back up there to victory lane. He knows now that he still has what it takes to get through and achieve when it matters most. The question becomes, of course, what can he do to maintain himself and keep that momentum going? Well, he's starting where he finished last week. Let's take a look at that starting grid. Inside of row number 1, River Page with a 23.422, putting himself up to the top of the pylon, and Vincent Guecci right alongside him. Vinny, as it stands, 7th in the championship, 34 points back. He is still mathematically eligible. Then you got Jim Thurston, who finds himself P4. He's 6th in the championship standings, 29 points back. Shea Schaefer right now, he's going to be 35 back in the championship lead after missing multiple races. Your former championship leader is no longer up in the front of the pack in that title battle. Aiden Walker, 3rd in the championship, 15 points back. He will start in 5th tonight. Daniel Mosteller is going to be P6 on the grid, and more importantly, he is 2nd in the championship standings, 8 points back. Then from there, you're going to have Nathan Palawada in 7th, championship leader. Jacob Wilkerson will begin his race in 8th. 9th and 10th go Henry Kaloff and Jackson Carr, 23.641 for the latter. You got 11th place, Jason Sametto. 12th will be Christian Delgado, and Jacque Carter will begin his race in 13th with Corey Lyles, P14. Aaron Schubel is going to be 15th tonight with Michael Deitch, 16th. Yahir Rodriguez in 17th, and Andres Faras, 18th. Hunter Bogdan and the rookie, number 77, Reese Evans, 19th and 20th on the order tonight. And last man on your grid, the 27 of Casey Bentz. That's your starting grid for the Field of Dreams 200. Let's talk about your conditions here at the virtual Iowa Speedway. As always, Iowa is a rather predictable track. Its turns equally banked. Very similar to Richmond Raceway in many accounts, and the conditions will be mild to make sure drivers have nothing to be concerned about. It's going to be a track temperature tonight coming in at 75 degrees Fahrenheit, ambient temperature of 72, moderate humidity of about 43%, and partly cloudy skies to persist all throughout the night. River Page finding himself on the bottom here, looking to go for 2 consecutive victories. Let's put the conditions aside and get to your racing. 200 laps. At Iowa, those laps are going to fly by quicker than you know. If River is to win tonight, he may just be the championship favorite heading into Sin City. Coming off a win last week, River Page looking to go and become the 3rd driver to collect back-to-back wins this season. He'll get us going as we come across the start-finish line. Green flag is out from the Iowa Speedway. River Page is your race leader into turns 1 and 2. By all accounts, River Page gets the starts he needs, and he's going to find himself up and away once again. River's going to lead Vincent Guecci. It's going to be a gap of about 15 100ths of a second. Shea Schaefer making some moves already on Jim Thurston. Notably, one driver has been mathematically eliminated from the championship hunt. That is Alexander Balderas. Balderas is now over 100 points off the championship lead, and as a result, he's the only driver in the playoffs to be eliminated early before we get to our season finale. That just comes down to the numbers, though. However, if a driver is more than 25 points away from whoever ends up as our championship leader, either Jacob Wilkerson or Daniel Mosteller, Aiden Walker, or River Page, by the end of the night, if you are more than 25 points away from whoever leads, you will be mathematically eliminated. There will be no way for a driver, in all honesty, outside the top 5 to win the title by this point. They would need a miracle come Las Vegas if they are to do so. So right now, we're focusing on those big 4 drivers, the ones who have been up at the front all season long. And there's a reason right now River Page is back where he is as your race leader. First and foremost, he's your defending champion. He's been here before, he's won the title before, and now he's looking to do it all over again. He's going to have to make some moves, though, on the drivers who are ahead of him points as he drifts into turn 1. Vincent Guecci not playing games. He'll see Chase Schaefer go down to the inside. Here comes Schaefer. Combat with a sliding River Page. River locks it down nicely. That'll cost him the race lead. And here comes Schaefer up the track. Chase nearly up to the wall. Now Daniel Mosteller sees the opportunity. Let's talk about the man who is second in the point standings right now, the two-time champion, the winningest driver in IORA history, Daniel Mosteller. He's up there and he's fighting for the lead. While Jacob Wilkerson and Aiden Walker toil amongst each other in the top 5, we've got 2 title contenders all over again. Right now, for Chase Schaefer anyway, his big goal is staying ahead of Jacob Wilkerson. Wilkerson has gotten off to what has been an electric start to his championship campaign. Although we saw previously Daniel Mosteller showing his prowess at the road courses, Wilkerson has had, by all means, an upper hand at the oval so far, including that leadoff win in Darlington that really gave him the momentum to come this far. So right now, when you look at someone like Daniel Mosteller, well, you gotta wonder, what can he do in this position anyway to get up to the race lead? It's gonna take a lunge now on Chase Schaefer to have a shot for second, and now does he go side by side with the number 99? Well, looks like a runner-up might not be too hard to grasp. River Page leads. Daniel Mosteller, though, gonna be breathing down his neck if all goes well for the 87 crew. Jason Cimento now running nicely with Henry Kaloff. Kaloff getting away, as a matter of fact, to go and battle Nathan Palawana. Aaron Schugel is alone in 12th here. Kaloff Deitch Racing, some interesting news out of their front. Henry Kaloff, Michael Deitch, the league owners, rather the team owners, work with the league owners of the Crown Jewel Racing League to put together their own team merchandise store. So congratulations to all those at KDR for putting it all together and getting some support on board for one of the ever-growing iRacing teams on the platform. Henry Kaloff tonight going to be joined by 3 of his teammates in Michael Deitch, Corey Lyles, and Aaron Schugel. Right now, Lyles and Schugel, who previously ran under that JFR banner, well, they went from Jackson Fuimano Racing to Kaloff and Deitch, and currently they find themselves just outside the top 10. Both of them hitting the wall at the same time as Michael Deitch runs in currently 19th. He just graduated from the University of Akron. He just moved back to Long Island just a few days ago. So first and foremost, congratulations to Michael Deitch finishing up his years at the University of Akron. Right now, just coming back home, getting his first chance to try out that home sim rig in at least several months. Although it doesn't look like so far Deitch has done much a good job with that. There's still a lot of time to learn. 13 laps in, he currently runs 19th as Jacquet Carter's got some trouble and is significantly slower on track. Deitch is going to make a pass, and it looks like Carter a little bit antsy. Here's a replay. Let's see what happened. So Jacquet Carter going to be involved in what could be the first incident of the day. Carter looked to be alone at the time of incident. He came out of turn 4, got loose, slid down the track, and went into the grass. Luckily, got it by his own means. He's in control, but he did get loose. And so, some troubles as he gets back on the way. Q family in the chat room looking to root for River Page, your race leader. Currently, River up at the front still, quarter of a second ahead of Chase Schaefer, and about a 3/4 of a second advantage to Daniel Mosteller. Demos is still just behind as it stands. 15 laps in, it looks like the advantage is still all River. Jim Thurston, though, going to be jousting with Aiden Walker now. Jacob Wilkerson of your Big 4 championship contenders is still going to find himself, last of which, in 7th place. Daniel Mosteller right now going to take himself up to 3rd, all the while Aiden Walker making a move here on Jim Thurston. The pass for P6 looks to be good, and now getting himself up into P5, Aiden Walker going after Vinny Tigner. That's going to give Jacob Wilkerson a little bit more room perhaps to play with the number 96, but also he's losing that time to Aiden Walker, and currently Wilkerson only 1 spot up on where his race began. Walker back to 5th where he started, Wilkerson 8th to 7th so far on the night, so qualifying, really representing who has what in terms of pace. Looks like right there, Vincent Guecci just went up the track ever so slightly. Nothing comes of it. He should still be good to go. Guecci going to be 4th here. Aiden Walker is in P5, and once again, 6th is Jim Thurston. He'll go up to the top here, maybe trying to defend upon the number 43. Wilkerson again looks to the bottom, but can't quite make the pass. It comes down right now to just trying to find that room. Iowa Speedway, any groove works, but there's not a lot of room across the circuit to really go more than 2 wide, if anything. And again, Thurston gets that edge and is going to make that move just ahead of the number 43 here. So, 19 laps in. Currently still looks like Thurston's running good laps relative to his all-time best on the session. 23.653 at race pace was his fastest time. That time through for Jim Thurston going to come across as a 24.611. So maybe now a second of tire fall off overall in the first 20 laps. And we're expecting to see a 2-stop strategy, a 3-stint strategy tonight, which means the drivers will come down to pit road at around lap 60 for the first time, which means we're about a third of the way through that first cycle. They'll come down, get their service, maybe try to go a little bit later, maybe 65 to lap 70. And when they do so, they'll come back out for another 65 to 70 laps and come in anywhere between laps 120 and lap 130. And by that point, they'll be good to go for the rest of the race. That, however, comes down to fuel strategy. And given the IORA Cup Series rules and regulations on fuel, we might see a 3-stopper and a 4-stint way about it, which means that drivers will be almost halfway through their stint already. Which means right now, they have to start thinking about maybe fuel mileage if they want to get the advantage on the strategy call. Side by side and door to door, now Jacob Wilkerson is really putting on that pressure. He'll dive to the inside, keeping it alongside James Thurston all the way. Thurston still gets the edge. It really comes down to that outside groove down the front straightaway. We can build up so much momentum over the other driver. And this is where Iowa is very similar to Richmond. And we mention it every time we come to one of these tracks. If you can build up a good entry to turn 1, it carries you across the rest of the track. And then you have to go through the entry at turn 3. If you make it through turns 3 and 4 very well, that takes you all the way to the back straightaway where the cycle continues. So it's in a driver's best interest to make turn 1 count. That's what Wilkerson is desperately trying to do here, trying to make something happen through the opening corner so he can get clear down the back straightaway and make a move to secure the pass, as it looks like he just did. Wilkerson now going to find himself drifting ever so slightly up the circuit. Number 96 of Jim Thurston now going to be coming through once again. Wilkerson and Thurston swap spots. Now the 96 takes it to the bottom, looking to defend previous spot where he was on offense. Now Vinny Tigner, he's not in this race. Vincent Guecci though is, and the battle of the Vinnies continue. Previously Wilkerson had to joust with Tigner at this very circuit in SNT. Looks like once again, Vinny's got the better of him. Guecci now going to be just ahead. Jim Thurston gets knocked off. Thurston is in 7th now. Wilkerson gets up to 6th as a result of the pass. And for Vincent Guecci, it looks like this battle is all he's needed to stay up and in front of Jacob Wilkerson. So, a brief reminder of the championship picture. Right now, your top 4 drivers in points are all within the top 6. If, of course, Jacob Wilkerson gets up and ahead of Vincent Guecci, all your top 4 drivers in points, all 4 of which they will be in the top 5 of this race. And that's an amazing way for all of them to get this thing going. Keeping in mind, the closer they are, the more exciting we might see the racing in Las Vegas, our one and only Season 6 event in 2025. January 2nd of 2025. In fact, just when the new year begins, the championship race comes to a close. Wilkerson now heading down to the bottom and trying to make his move on Guecci and make it for certain. Hasn't done it yet, but he remains tight. Door to door, Vincent Guecci up top, Jacob Wilkerson still leading down to the bottom. I think now Wilkerson has the edge and he is not looking back. It looks like right now his rearview mirror is going to see a whole lot of Aiden Walker. only for Walker to head down to the bottom of the track. You see there's no Aiden Walker the way we're looking. From the rear view, now Walker is gone, and so is Vincent Guecci. Vinny's now going to find himself getting tailed off. Aiden Walker still up and ahead. 1.1 second gap between leader River Page and second place Chase Schaefer. Page has come alive as of late. Daniel Mosteller still in the better spot than his two other championship contenders. He still has a slight advantage overall relative to every driver in the mix. To take a ride on board right now, let's take it through with a closer battle. What's now going on the track? Well, Vincent Guecci and Jim Thurston. Thurston now starting to make some moves. Take a ride on board to see him begin perhaps to set up the pass. Thurston getting a little bit closer lap after lap. The gap right now going to come in at about 0.8 of a second, and with nobody else to intrude or interfere with that, namely Jacob Wilkerson getting away, Thurston has an opportunity to make a move here. Both these drivers are on the fringe of the championship battle, not necessarily favorites, not top contenders right now. However, when it comes down to the numbers, they are still in the fight. Currently, Jim Thurston finding himself 6th in the championship. Vincent Guecci just behind, finding himself tied for 7th with Nathan Palawada here. So even though these drivers are still up there in the championship mix, they're 30-plus points back, which is not the place you want to be in. And again, with all those top 4 drivers in the points ahead of them as we run, well, it looks like it could be game over. Jim Thurston and company have a chance to move up one spot. Mike Mitchum not racing with us and effectively forfeiting his championship cause. But with the big 4 up in front of the field, well, that just means now it's going to be an even harder task to maybe make up some points. And if River Page and Daniel Mosteller, of course, stay in front, we might see that championship field narrow further. Aiden Walker's Achilles heel so far this season has been victory lane. He has not been able to secure a win yet. 34 laps into this race, I don't know if he's got the race-winning pace, but the strategy still could fall his way. It's been a season of massive success for Aiden Walker, and in all honesty, happens to be his best season on the record. 2nd in the regular season championship. That title went Daniel Mosteller's way on the very final race of the regular season. And from there, Walker has remained just about as consistent as they come. He's only 7 points behind Daniel Mosteller and 15 points back overall. Walker, if anything, still has a very real chance. And if he is to win this title, he would certainly deserve it. But it's going to take a little bit more than 2nd place or 3rd place finishes. It's going to take that win. It's going to take that breakout performance, and that's something that is still not come through for this 93. We have not yet in IORA Cup Series competition ever seen a driver win a championship winless. As a matter of fact, it's only happened once in IORA sanctioned competition. It was the Legends Series, and its one and only season. The champion, well, his name is on the screen right now if you read the bottom. That's right. As a brief period in my time, I was a driver in the 87 series, the only IORA Cup Series driver to, of course, get a victory in any IORA series without a championship. With that said, these drivers have never done so. I've done it, they have not. And in the IORA Cup Series now, significantly higher level of competition. Walker has his back against the wall. It's not something that comes easy. And across 14 races, when you don't have a chance to win once, well, either you're not that good a driver or circumstance hasn't fallen your way. Walker's had chances. He is that good of a driver to win. It just comes down to execution from here if he really wants to go out there and win this title. Right now, about 4 seconds back on your race leader in River Page, and it looks like that gap has been ever expanding only because River is still quicker than everybody else, and this has major championship implications. Major. The reason being, River Page right now not only has the race lead, but he has a monopoly on every bonus point. He has led every lap so far. He has led the most laps, and he can lock up that accolade with 100 laps led, and he also won the pole position. This could be one of the most important races in IORA history for any championship fight, and a race like this, when you're 4th in the standings, could elevate you all the way up to the top. Lapper Jacque Carter gets out of the way. That puts him one lap down. No trouble for that 0006 to get through without, of course, frustration. One lap down Carter is, as is Reese Evans. Not a lot of lappers, but those who are one lap down have already faced some previous setback. Specifically for Carter, he got loose and lost an awful lot of position. Hunter Bogdan and Michael Deitch are due up next if we stay green here. Jacob Wilkerson coming up on Aiden Walker. Not much has come of this fight just yet. Meanwhile, Daniel Mosteller is still trying to get up to Chase Schaefer. Oh, Schaefer's not going to make that any harder. Chase Schaefer banging against that right side. He's got damage now. It's more than cosmetic. Aerodynamic troubles now for the 99 might just mean that Daniel Mosteller's championship hopes are going to thrive. The 87 here staying in second, even if River Page has an amazing night like this. Well, playing second fiddle isn't all too bad when your championship leader is 2 fiddles behind in fourth here. So Daniel Mosteller not in a bad position at all. As you can see across the last 4 laps, he's still losing time to River Page, but aren't we all? Now it just comes down to keeping that 43 on the back end, and Aiden Walker, of course by association, has to stay behind too. Walker 15 points back in the standings coming in, Page 17 behind. So Walker right now not being ahead of River Page is in a bad position just because his nearest championship rival is having a significantly better race. Demos getting alongside Jacque Carter. Carter is going to let the number 87 get right through, decides not to intrude. Good on the number 006, Daniel Mosteller gets away. Schaefer is still just a few tenths of a second up. Jacob Wilkerson now door-to-door with Aiden Walker, and this will be major. Walker trying to hang on here, using that second groove, hoping the front straightaway will bail him out, and it looks like across turn 4, it's going to help him. Side by side across the line, still no dice. It looks like Walker still slightly losing that advantage, but Jacob Wilkerson has not sealed the deal and called it clear. Fight still remains. It looks like Jacob Wilkerson will get the edge after all, but this is going to come down not just to line, but more so to what's going on when it comes to tire. We're now 47 laps into this run, and it's been a fast one. We're expecting drivers to come down a pit road before we hit lap 70, but we might just see them coming in right about now. Reese Evans has already given a signal on that number 77 to come down and in, so Reese is 2 laps down. Nobody else has done so. The magic number could be 50 tonight, 50 per stint. So right now the leaders cannot afford to go down and in just yet, but when we get to lap number 50, the pit window will open, and it'll close at about lap 70 for this run. Hunter Bogdan gets in the wall as he's 1 lap down. So is Michael Deitch now, so that leaves us with 16 on the lead lap. No retirees. Christian Delgado right now being passed by Corey Lyles. Back up in front, Wilkerson has made the move, and it looks like it only took him so long. Now the number 43 looks on a pass Hunter Bogdan. Bogdan's going to be up top in the Braxton Whitaker-sponsored B-Man machine, and Wilkerson gets through. Aiden Walker does so quickly, so they're both rather near each other, even if the number 93 just got passed. Mosteller's got to look back, though. If Jacob Wilkerson is significantly quicker, well, he's going to have a problem on his hands. But so far, Demos has built up about 1 second to deal with the 43. He just can't afford now to lose him when it comes down to tire strategy and fuel strategy when we head down to pit road. That will be critical. Approaching pit road proper is the best thing a driver can do, even if they aren't too sure about their long run pace. Right now, Mosteller looks pretty confident. I would say the whole field up in front looks pretty confident. River Page leads. Chase Schaefer is the anomaly. He's not in the top 4 in points, but he is still there in second, holding it firmly. Then you've got the drivers who are up in the top 5 in points. Well, Daniel Mosteller, second in the championship. Jacob Wilkerson comes in leading the championship. Aiden Walker is the man who comes in third. So the best drivers have once again rose to the top, and Chase Schaefer just missing a race was his problem. He might have been up there in the championship fight as well had he not skipped out on one night. Who's to say, though, that Chase Schaefer can't win? If he wins, he still has a ticket to the championship race in Las Vegas. If he doesn't, it's practically an elimination. That's what it comes down to here. Schaefer still has an outsider's shot, but it would take 2 perfect races starting now and ending in Las Vegas next year for him to seal the deal. Not going to be easy. It is still not impossible, and that's the great thing about the playoff formula we are using tonight. Last time we had a multi-driver championship race until the very end, which means the last race of the season, was Season 2. It was Mason Moriarty, it was James Thurston, and it was Daniel Mosteller, the eventual winner of that affair. It was a 3-driver battle for the championship at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Now, this was many a year ago. This was in 2022, the first broadcasted season of IORA on FTN. So, perhaps some of these drivers, perhaps some of you viewers don't recall, but that was a 3-way fight for the title on the very last day of the season. And Daniel Mosteller, he was, of course, the man that came through for his 2nd consecutive title, and to this point, the final title of his IORA Cup Series career. Could very well change, though, in the next coming race. Demo still having that trouble, though, just getting by Chase Schaefer. What looked to be maybe an easy pass with the damage Schaefer has in the back end has not come simple. So far, Schaefer's been able to fight back, fend off against the damage, and keep himself going. So, in a tricky position right now, Daniel Mosteller is. Maybe he's got a reason to be a little bit more aggressive, but Chase Schaefer has been unwavering in his performance so far. And that's the best thing you can do right now, even if you have damage. There's a chance Chase Schaefer does not know. A lot of the times, these drivers continue on without thinking that they have damage, and that's what works out the best for them. As it stands for Schaefer, he might have done just that. He might feel it. He might have adapted, but he's still about as quick as ever, and he's coming up on a lap or just as fast. That right there is the number 17 in Michael Deitch, and it looks like Deitch goes easy to the high side and causes no trouble. 58 laps in, drivers have not gone down to pit road. Jacquet Carter might just be the next man to do so, however. Carter just signaled in, and he's going to find himself down on pit road and alone right now after 58 laps. Interesting, the drivers are going to go for the long-term strategy tonight, as we saw Carter pulling away, which means the magic number, based on the numbers anyway, we're thinking lap number 64 might be the way to go. So expect some drivers to just move up to lap 65 and account for 1 extra lap on this first stint. 59 laps in so far, there's a very real chance that we see now the 2-stop strategy come into play. Drivers a little bit more confident with making those extra laps count, and so far, seeing that run well for someone like River Page. Page has led every lap so far, 4 seconds up on Chase Schaefer. Then you got an additional second up to Daniel Mosteller, who's now only a half second ahead of Jacob Wilkerson. So, just to make sure that we're all on the same page here, yes, Jacob Wilkerson is gaining on the 87, and it looks like the biggest gains of all have come over the course of the last 15 laps, which is a long period at something like an intermediate circuit, but here, those laps are coming 3 laps a minute on average. So, in only about 5 minutes time, you're beginning to see drivers face struggles, face that tire wear, and having to address it without going down and into pit road. This is the worrisome period for some who aren't as confident with their long run pace. Mosteller has shown good pace so far and might actually still be gaining relative to Chase Schaefer, but now there's a faster driver than the both of them, and that man is just a few tenths back, and he's looking to make it a more exciting event by proxy. Enter Jacob Wilkerson here, who's now 4.7 seconds back Daniel Mosteller, 5 flat for Wilkerson relative to River Page. It's getting real tight in the upper half of the top 10. Yahir Rodriguez coming fourth. This is a battle with Jason Semedo. Jason goes up top, and it looks like there's Yahir Rodriguez right to the low. Rodriguez not able to hang on for the pass. Jason Semedo maintains in 11th. Jackson Carr running a very smooth number 83 tonight. He has caused little trouble. He's been in little action. He has just run his own pace, and so far that's worked out pretty well for him. As it stands, the driver, the number 25, has been running solid 10th to 10th. And it looks like that's the way things will stay. Christian Delgado making some minor gains, and let's talk about Christian Delgado tonight in the High Velocity TV, number 13. So far, making those slight upward movements, going to keep him inside the top 10, running from 12th to 9th. Says he was as low as 19th, so Christian Delgado, the ups and downs have been massive, and that comes because of an end-of-line penalty. So Delgado voluntarily decided to take it to the back and go from there. He's gone from the tail of the field to about the middle of it overall, and a top 10 run at that has been pretty impressive for Delgado. His best IORA run to date so far. Getting a little bit more pressure now from Jackson Carr, and maybe the tire wear starting to get to him. 66 laps in out of 100. Pretty clear now that we're going to see drivers going for the two-stopper. Great to see that these drivers have been able to make it that far. 100 laps will be necessary for a one-stop run. A real risk. I don't think these drivers will be running that risk given our fuel cell limits. Reminder, 80% limit on capacity tonight, so if you've seen drivers previously go longer on the same fuel stint, well, the reason is it's not the same fuel stint. These drivers do, however, have multiple sets of tire. They've got 5 to work with tonight, and so far, every single one of which up in front on the lead lap is working with their first. Very likely right now, we're only going to see 3 sets used, 1 that's on the car, and then from there, the 2 others that they get as the race goes on. Jackson Carr still getting closer here to Christian Delgado, looking across the gaps on the track. Right now, this is one of the closest battles. Matter of fact, it is the closest battle on the track. Currently, it looks like now the number 25 is a shot. There goes Jackson Carr. He'll dive deep, and in just a matter of 1 turn, he makes the pass, gets through, takes position. Jackson Carr up into 9th. Still Christian Delgado inside the top 10. Now Jacob Wilkerson looking to make a move across Daniel Mosteller. Demos in the 87 facing some significant pressure here. And this is detrimental for the 87's title fight. He knows this is it. Comes down to him and Wilkerson if Page is out of the picture. And right now Jacob Wilkerson is on the long haul, coming back from the middle of the top 10 to all the way up front in 3rd. Another pass made for Wilkerson, the 43, up into 3rd. Earlier today, Jacob Wilkerson was racing in an ARCA event in the officials ladder on iRacing. He started in 12th and was able to finish that race in 3rd across a 35-lap green flag run. And the mileage in that event comes out almost as equal to what you're seeing right now, 71 laps in here in Iowa. So while Wilkerson didn't get that practice when it came to the car or the track, he did, however, get some crucial practice in coming up the field. He's gone 8th to 3rd today, and right now, with the exception of Yahir Rodriguez, he is the biggest mover inside the top 10. Well, Rodriguez is inside the top 10 for the first time because Guetsch just went down to pit road. Andres Varas got away, but James Thurston did too. And here comes Chase Schaefer. Schaefer now heading down to pit road. The 99 goes through, and with them, race leader River Page. Oh, he's got trouble. He tried to make it to pit road, and it looks like he failed. Now, here comes Jacob Wilkerson. Oh, Page, a huge error. And now he's going to be side by side with the number 43 with damage. Page might have just blown his race. He'll come down to pit road, but look again. He made a huge error, and it's going to cost him perhaps the entire night. Take a look at this one more time. River Page, the man to look at. He went just above pit road, failed to make it in, and that is a huge misstep. Comes up the track, bangs the wall. Wilkerson, now the top dog. That might have just been River Page's championship chance taken out by himself. Wilkerson now gets on the move. Daniel Mosteller, your race leader. Demos able to lead a lap. He now has himself a bonus point, and the monopoly that River Page held in the first half of this race, well, it's almost all but gone. Page needs a good race from here. I don't think he's going to get that race lead back without a huge huge recovery. Currently, it looks like now Daniel Mosteller comes down to pit road. Jackson Carr goes with. Henry Kaloff stays out. Carr goes in with Andres Varas. Jacob Wilkerson now has a shot to lead this race. He's getting back in on the way. Meanwhile, Daniel Mosteller finds himself on pit road here. So, Jackson Carr is going to come in, and Henry Kaloff is going to now be your new race leader. Jacob Wilkerson has a chance to become the net race leader as he goes side by side here with River Page. Page is lucky that he's going to be able to relieve himself from this mistake. He's able to use his one and only fast repair to get back on the move, and it means now that the fight for the overall race lead might be a three-pronged one, because Daniel Mosteller just got on the way and finds himself only a few car lengths back on younger rubber. We'll talk about a save. River Page's night is just hanging in the balance of this lead. Number 24 still net race leader after that shenanigan fest for the past few laps. Henry Kaloff is your overall top driver. Number 63 has to concede eventually. He chooses not to that time by, which leaves Kaloff, Schaefer, Deitch up in front. Aiden Walker going to be just ahead now. River Page, and this is a battle again for the race lead. Walker, Page, bringing Jacob Wilkerson and Daniel Mosteller with. The top drivers have once again come across each other, and now they're all running in line. The top four in points are ready to do battle. This is going to be intense very soon. Now, Henry Kaloff is going to bow down. He'll head down to pit road and let Chase Schaefer take the race lead. Schaefer up in front for the first time tonight. He is actually going to find himself with the net race honor because he's got himself on a 6-lap stint, and he's ahead now of Aiden Walker and all company. So Schaefer cycles out up in front. He's got 3 seconds to work with here relative to River Page. And so he might have a little bit of time to stay up in front before he's knocked off the totem pole. 75 or so laps have brought us to this point, so expect the next pit cycle to come at about lap 150, lap 160. It's going to be give or take in that range. A lot of drivers going long this time. They won't have to worry nearly as much on the next cycle. Schaefer going to come through, keep the advantage. River Page now going to be chasing down Aiden Walker. Right aboard with River Page here and see that driver telemetry to check out what he's doing halfway into the event. A little bit of use of the brakes there, as you might have seen. Telemetry estimates showing you exactly what is going on here for River Page. Putting the gas down, 4th gear all the way. Some drivers shift down to 3rd. Looks like River Page, not one of them. He's going to stay in 4th gear, let the foot and the pedal do all the work from there. The gearbox, rather constant. Coming across the line again for lap number 84 up next. River Page is still going to be here in 3rd. Aiden Walker has some distance, and this is the best spot that Walker's been in all night long. Of course, running in 2nd for Walker. Haven't seen him up there to this point, but he's been inside the top 5 for practically the entire night. Lowest position he was in was 9th, and that just came down to the pit stop cycle there, where multiple of our top drivers fell down multiple positions. Tricky spot to be in right now if you're Aiden Walker. River Page, Jacob Wilkerson, Daniel Mosteller, all rounding out the top 5. Walker's got the edge, but he also is going to have that pressure put on him. So if River Page gets to him, which could happen here over the long run, you're going to see a completely different attitude faced for these drivers who are bundling up against each other. River Page's race got saved just by having a good pit stop, but now Jacob Wilkerson is all over him, and no doubt, even though he got away with that last hitch, well, he's still going to be maybe a little bit shaken up after the previous ordeal. So what can River Page now do to fix that? The only thing he can do from here is simple. He's got to defend. Caution's out, though, first time tonight. The reason being Corey Lyles in the 56, and he's going to find himself mowing the lawn. Yellow flag flies after nearly half of this race comes and goes. Lyles was in the wall the lap before. This is a full lap replay on the matter, so we'll see really what happened here as Corey Lyles faces significant troubles to open up the night. First yellow flag of the day, 87 laps in. Let's take a look here. Lyles coming through turns 3 and 4, hits the wall, heads down low, and it looks like very similar to the Jacques Carter. Caution is out. Second time it's happened, and so we're going to get ourselves a yellow here. Single car incident. Unfortunately, we can't stay green from that one. Some damage accrued for the 56. Chase Schaefer, your leader. Walker, 3/10 back. Pit road going to be busy. Chase Schaefer, Aiden Walker, River Page, Jacob Wilkerson, 1, 2, 3, 4 coming in line. It's time now for the 99 to get a chance to hold strategy to his own. And with the entire field coming back together here, Jim Thurston, Vincent Guecci, all coming forth. We're going to see now who's got a chance to exit pit road the quickest. Pit road coming down to this battle just at the front line. River Page is right there, but it looks like he will beat out the rest of the field. Page, Wilkerson, Mosteller, Guecci, Thurston, Walker, Palawada, Jackson Carr, Jacques Carter, Yahir Rodriguez, Christian Delgado, and Chase Schaefer. Very far behind for Chase Schaefer, and he's going to have himself 13th after that pit stop, as he's going to take himself full service, leaving Henry Kaloff at the top of the board. So Henry getting his second chance to lead all night. Very likely he comes down to pit road. That's up to his decision. Kaloff has been known, especially as of recent on FTN, to fight even if the chips are down for him when it comes to strategy. And it looks like, though, he's going to have to head to the back of the field regardless of that choice to stay on. Henry Kaloff now a little bit lower. We can focus on the race leaders up and ahead. Chase Schaefer going to be sent all the way back down to the 12th spot here, but very slow on pit road, and it's going to cost them big time. So Jacob Wilkerson and Daniel Mosteller are due to your front row here. Wilkerson, of course, that number 43, leading the championship standing, so a win could be all but game over for the rest of the IORA Cup Series field. For anyone else to win, though, someone like River Page, for instance, there's still a very real chance for multiple drivers to come away with the title. Daniel Mosteller also in a spot where he certainly could win this one. That could be him and Jacob Wilkerson. All that's left. River Page and Aiden Walker is coming in as the dark horses. So far, Page has been dominant. He made one error, able to save himself, and he's been able to go on from that point almost unfazed. Now, as we go back at it for lap number 91, coming oh so close to the halfway point, Page just has to do it again. Green flag will fly for lap 91. The iRacing official pace car will leave us, and it'll be time to go green. Up in control, the number 24. Miata Gang Designs has seen a load of success over the course of the past year, and looking to end the year, they collected their first championship with a final win. Page gonna get the restart. He gets the jump once again. Green flags out, and in control, your top drivers in the standings, Wilkerson and Mosteller just behind. Daniel Mosteller already jumping out to look for the race lead. Caution is out for the second time. Michael Deitch, cause of the yellow. Looks like a quickie, so here's a quick replay as the number 17 goes spinning. Yellow flag is out, and here's why. Deitch into turns 1 and 2. Jacques Carter looking low, looking lower, and contact once, twice, and hooked. Carter taking care of that number 17 real easy, and maybe a little bit of contact there as Varas got away. Then contact again as Vincent Guecci has damage. take a look one more time. We'll look with the perspective of Jaquay Carter, who sent that number 17 around, and see what it was like inside the cockpit there before the incident happened. And just after, Vincent Guecci turns sliding up into the wall, and an incident under caution. Maybe a little bit more violent, perhaps, than even what happened to cause the caution. Guecci, Jaquay Carter, Michael Deitch, the drivers involved. So after sprinting to lap 90, we're at a little bit of a standstill here as we trudge toward halfway. River Page still leads, and we almost saw ourselves a 3-wide battle for the race lead there, but had to be put to a close as a result of the caution. Mosteller now has the slight advantage on Wilkerson. We'll be able to choose going into turns 1 and 2 again, and River Page, of course, has first choice as to where he would like to go at the bottom of the top. 2 laps to green. We'll go back at lap number 96. Michael Deitch gets back on the way. Jaquay Carter right now going to find himself the only driver recorded 1 lap down for a brief period. However, now you'll see Henry Kaloff heading down to pit road again. He got some extra service. Now going to be 1 under. Number 63 going to return and try to get a lap back perhaps. So Kaloff gets on the move. Looks like he'll be able to take that chance and get himself back with the leaders. So far, a dominant race for River Page, even with that hiccup, the caution coming out and putting him back together. So far, he's led 78 laps on the day. A reminder, he will have the most laps led clinched if he leads 100 laps, and so far, he's really close to that point. To the point where even if someone else is to lead the rest of the way after this lap, there's a very slim shot that they're going to be able to take that most laps led bonus away from him. River Page is in that good of a position to come away with even more bonus points just because of how dominant that first stint was. 20 more laps would seal that deal for River, and I'm sure he would love to do just that. If, of course, push comes to shove, though, he still has himself the major advantage in coming away with the most laps led accolade on the day here. Your pole sitter looking to lead his 80th lap this time by, and he will control the field, and alongside him stays Daniel Mosteller. Green flag flies. Demos not even close. River Page once again in full control of your restart. Second one he's been in control of tonight. Demos finds himself middle, nearly 3 wide for third. And forget nearly, Aiden Walker really putting the pressure down there on Jacob Wilkerson. Luckily no contact, but it got rather close as the field gets away again. Side by side for the lead is Page, Mosteller right alongside each other, nearly making contact. Rolani's, of course, now going to have himself rolling up on the track. A fair shot, River Page, to go out there and take the race lead and keep it. He took it. Now it all comes down to defending. 87, Daniel Mosteller. Now what can he do with Jim Thurston up on the way? Thurston really isn't in much of a position championship-wise when it comes to going out there and winning the title. Thurston, he's done it before, the Season 3 champ, but ever since that point, his race winning has been sparse, and his podium performances, while still there, have not been frequent enough to point his way up to the front of the title. Right now, he finds himself still championship eligible, but the standings show the 96 is 6th in the campaign and might find himself on the bleeding edge if he does not win tonight. That's the mentality he's gonna be in here. And for the first half of the race, he really has been almost a no-show. But this second half could be his. 99 laps in and now coming across for the triple digits. Thurston's in the closest spot he's been in all night long. He's got Wilkerson just behind him, Mosteller just ahead, and River Page 2 spots up. He's got the right company. Now he's got to make sure he has the advantage and keeps himself just ahead. And truthfully, that's when it becomes the most tricky situation of all, figuring out what exactly is the right thing to do when your back is against the wall as a driver fighting for the championship. We talked about River Page having his back against the wall. Thurston right now knows it's practically win or lose for him for the title from this point on. Victory would be still perhaps unlikely, but maximizing points, getting the lap-led bonus, going from there is a huge step. Thurston might be the final driver to have a mathematical shot in Las Vegas if the race were to end right now. Alexander Balderas, as we mentioned, is already ineligible for the championship, but if we take a look at the whole picture here, there are many drivers that are on the bleeding edge of also being considered down and out. Of course, Demos, Jacob Wilkerson, those are the drivers who we know they're up there, and they've been up there. Well, River Page, he's right there too, and that's why he's your leader. But then you go beyond Jim Thurston, you got Guecci, Palawana, and Kala for more than 30 points out, respectively. Aaron Schugel, who is over 45 points behind, and admittedly, that is almost an impossible deficit to overcome. And then Alexander Balderas, who we mentioned again, is mathematically ineligible with 2 races remaining. There's about 50 points up for grabs in each race. If you're more than 50 out, well, by this point, you're practically out of the showing, which means Schugel is effectively done for. And now, it all comes down to those drivers, few that remain, as we slowly eliminate more from contention. 104 laps in out of 200. River Page, Daniel Mosteller, they're still leading. Third place is going to be Jim Thurston, and Jacob Wilkerson is in 4th. Aiden Walker runs in 5th, and it looks like that's going to change rather quickly. He's going to make a move and keep himself there. Chase Schaefer is in 6th, trying to take that spot away. Jackson Carr is P7 with Yahir Rodriguez 8th. Nathan Palawana in 9th. And Aaron Schugel, the number 91, wraps up the top 10 in tonight's feature so far. The Field of Dreams 200 live at the virtual Iowa Speedway. And as always, all throughout the year on FTN, we've been bringing you action of motorsport through iRacing.com. The iRacing Motorsports Simulation has been the leading provider for FTN's content through its state-of-the-art motorsports simulator. Professionals, casuals of all experience levels have used iRacing now for more than 16 years. This is our final scheduled stream of the year live on FTN in 2024. So if you enjoy, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Our plans for 2025 are going to be more exciting than ever, and we cannot wait to have you with us as we keep things going into the next year. The big thing is right now for iRacing, if you want to join and start your sim racing career, this is the perfect time to do so because sales have never been better. 50% off brand new memberships. That's right, iRacing's holiday sale is still alive and well, and if you haven't gotten yourself onto the platform yet, you've still got a chance to do so. The time is now. Do not wait. Christmas is coming right around the corner. Black Friday sale was wonderful as well, and if you're brand new to iRacing, this is still available for you. Now through January 5th, visit iRacing.com/holiday-sale for more information and start your sim racing career and join us with the fun on FTN. You're watching FTN Broadcasting's coverage of the Field of Dreams 200. We will return right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. visit iRacing.com.
89 laps to go here on FTN Broadcasting. Coverage of the Field of Dreams 200 comes in the thick of the IORA Cup Series championship battle. Right now, River Page is still the top driver, leading, and he's got the rest of the field by his tail. Now you see there's Jacob Wilkerson 6/10 back on leader and still behind on Daniel Mosteller. Demos needs to finish tonight ahead of Jacob Wilkerson for a real shot at the title in Las Vegas. Again, you're coming in for the first time tonight. This is the Iowa Speedway, the final race of 2024 for the IORA Cup Series. However, that does not mean this is our championship finale. It is not. What's going on from here is that we're going to move on, and our next event, well, it's going to be January 2nd. The very last race of the Season 6 campaign comes in 2025. We're just going to have ourselves the penultimate race today. Still a crucial night for the championship, but we do not crown a title winner. That will come when we return from our holiday break here in Iora. Interesting to note, we haven't talked about the track information tonight, and the Iowa Speedway, well, we've been to Richmond before, but this is a little bit of a different take on practically the same racing style. Iowa Speedway is much younger than its counterpart in Virginia. The Speedway has not been around for longer than 20 years. As a matter of fact, broke ground and opened in 2006. It's one of the youngest tracks on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, coming in right now at only 16 or rather 18 years of age. Broke ground just before, took less than 2 years to construct from groundbreaking to its opening date. It's been owned by NASCAR since November of 2013 and has seen use in the Xfinity Series, the Truck Series, the Indycar Series still goes there, and even at one point the Grand American Road Racing Championship, otherwise known as the Rolex Sports Car Series. Once, that was in 2007. The track, its turns are pretty predictable. Well, coming down to about 13 degrees of banking overall. Front stretch banked at 10 degrees, and the back stretch coming in at 4 degrees. Practically identical, perhaps, to Richmond, shall you say, in how you drive it, and it is all coming down to that young pavement. This is a new track compared to every other on the circuit, of course, in the short track world. Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond, they've all seen several decades. This, well, it's seen a decade, it still hasn't seen a full 20 years. This cannot even drink, this track. It's pretty young, but it's been pretty well adopted, pretty familiar most drivers are with it these days, and as a result, you don't see drivers too uncomfortable with coming around. Right now, Page and Mosteller still 1-2 combo. Jacob Wilkerson runs third. Chase Schaefer has gotten by Jim Thurston. That was the move for fourth. The number 99 was able to get through and putting himself up in that spot. He finds himself just advantageous over Thurston here. Then you got Jackson Carr and Aiden Walker who hold their own 6th and 7th. Carr and Walker. Yahir Rodriguez is going to be in 8th, and Nathan Palawano will be in 9th with Henry Kaloff 10th. Christian Delgado is going to be 11th, but that might change. Delgado again looking to make a move and perhaps put himself up inside the top 10. Corey Lyles is going to be your first premature retiree of the day. It's going to be a pretty quick entry there for Corey Lyles to the garage relative to everyone else. Jason Semedo and Lyles look to be down and out. The rest of the field still going strong. One lap down Michael Deitch, so is Andres Varas. Now he gets himself back on the lead lap, as a matter of fact. And then you've got Jacque Carter 2 laps under. So most drivers are still going at it with very little hesitation. 79 laps to go, and number 13 dives deep again. It looks like this time Christian Delgado able to complete the pass. Jackson Carr racing against 93 of Aiden Walker. And while Walker tonight has been up there in the top 5 for most of the day, this looks like a steep departure from where Aiden wants to be. And I'm sure right now he's well aware of that fact and doesn't want to be reminded. So what can Aiden Walker do from here? He is in 7th. Meanwhile, the rest of his title contenders, well, they find themselves several positions up. Are they in a good spot right now with 77 laps to go. Guys like Jackson Carr to keep the 93 at bay. Is Aiden Walker going to be a little bit more aggressive before we get to our final pit stops of the night? Will it be worth it right now for that number 93 to push? Or does he wait for things to settle in where they may and perhaps be a little bit more patient, hoping that the nicer way to go about it is the better way? Walker gets by another lapper and Michael Deitch. Michael nearly getting up into the wall there a second time, luckily with no contact. The leading battle has gotten a little bit closer. Looks like Daniel Mosteller is making some gains on River Page, and we weren't sure at all about how River's first short run speed was going to compare with his long run speed. He had such a big advantage before he made that early mistake that it looked like there would be no way to figure out whether or not he'd be quicker or slower. Over the past 4 laps, it's pretty clear now Daniel Mosteller is faster and takes a look down to the inside. River Page, no choice but to go up top, but I don't think defense is going to be a real option here. As the number 87 takes it to the bottom, the gap is now just under a tenth of a second as they come across the line. 8/100ths is the difference. And that brings Jacob Wilkerson with, and this is going to get real dicey here because if Mosteller fails to make the pass, it means that Wilkerson can make the pass. Enter the number 43. Jacob Wilkerson now going to find himself looking for second, while second place Daniel Mosteller looks for the race lead. And now it's going to become another battle for the race lead with the 87 looking low. Daniel Mosteller keeps himself just alongside. Door to door here, 2 former champions and a driver behind them that has the stuff to go out there and win the title. He's still your points leader, but the veterans now need to sort it out amongst themselves. Now it looks like Daniel Mosteller has gotten his footing in. Page, oh so close to the wall, nearly putting a dent into it. Our first race of 2024 on FTN was at Iowa with the Xfinity car. River Page won that night, and to finish off the year with another victory, there's a real chance now for River Page to do just that. Couldn't quite make it around that time by. Instead, Daniel Mosteller now has a shot, and he almost gets it done again. Now it looks like River Page just has that momentum on the back straightaway. That's all he has. Reminder, 10 degrees of banking down the back straight. It is a serious tool, and it's almost like another massive turn. And that's going to keep Daniel Mosteller even still at bay with 71 laps to go. Jacob Wilkerson just behind, still looking side by side. 70 laps remaining and time still counting down. Jackson Carr inside the top 5, but he's going to be further back. Meanwhile, Demos now has a slight race lead into turn 3, the first he's had all throughout the stint. Now it's going to be River Page trying to fight back. Can't get there. He's going to have to use the back straightaway to his advantage. At the line, barely race leading. Wilkerson is in the best position right now. If these two end up making severe contact, if push comes to shove, he's got a chance to make it by both of them. Wilkerson with a nice run once again. He's behind the 24. Page shoots a little bit too deep. It now looks like Mosteller is very confident in what he's got. 69 laps to go and a nice pass made by Demos, but he cannot close it off. It's still 24 alongside. River Page keeping it close. No dice. River Page now second, Daniel Mosteller now leading. And as such, number 43 Jacob Wilkerson comes toe-to-toe again. And the EPI 43 up to P2. River Page now finding himself third. He had to dive away from Reese Evans just to keep himself in the fight for the runner-up spot. That was as close as it came. Daniel Mosteller, new race leader. Page gonna shuffle back to third. Now with all the work done by Daniel Mosteller to get up to this point, you gotta wonder whether or not he's got the stuff now to defend as your race leader. The PBR number 43 is just behind. All the while, it looks like still Demos has a shot. Can he keep it ahead, though, of Jacob Wilkerson? It looks like already he is being challenged. Here comes Wilkerson, looking low. And with him comes Chase Schaefer. We might see another driver try to take the race lead, and it looks like it's a never-ending cycle now. Wilkerson, no dice that time by. Demos will be good to block. And talk about tricky nature of this one. The number 87 of Daniel Mosteller is still holding his head high. All the while, Jacob Wilkerson is right back there. So if Demos does make another mistake, or if he's just a little bit too slow for Wilkerson's liking, we could very soon see another pass for the race lead. And it would be our third, and what, about 20 laps on the stint. A fast one, but it's been an especially exciting one at that. So far, looks like Wilkerson's still looking for an opportunity, has not given that up. The stadium lights are going to come on. The sun is setting here in Iowa, and we're going to see some nighttime racing to finish the job in 2024. Started with the full daylight, and the sun has been setting ever since. Now, we're at the point where there's all but no light left. And the sunlight's going to disappear, and the drivers will be the stars that light this one up for the final 60-some laps. Lapper on the bottom of the track as Jaquay Carter looks like he is escaping down a pit road. Troublesome circumstance here if you are Aiden Walker. Still going to be 6, still going to be several seconds back. As you can see here, Walker is going to be about 5 seconds back on the field ahead of him, who are fighting for not only the lead, but the championship. While Aiden not having a bad night, his championship rivals are 1st, 2nd, and 4th up and in front. And even Chase Schaefer, with such a good night, has a real chance to put himself up there right alongside Aiden Walker. So, Aiden's got to continue improving. If there's anything left in this number, 93, well, it's going to come here and now. And so far, looks like he's got himself ahead of Yahir Rodriguez, but he hasn't gotten that force to pull away and make gains on his own. That's been what's lacking for Aiden Walker, and so far, he's still showing that struggle. Daniel Mosteller still leading by about 1/10.5 over Jacob Wilkerson. Hasn't been any major difference when it comes to these two overall, but now the big question becomes whether or not Aiden Walker or company are going to catch up. Someone maybe a little bit closer like River Page. River's been going backwards for the past 20 or so laps here. He got passed. Ever since then, he has been a ghost, and it looks like his night changed immeasurably by just one move, just like that. So, now, what can someone like River do? Maybe there's a chance to rebound with pit strategy coming up. There's one last chance when it comes down to going to pit road here. So I figure that if River Page is going to look at the bright side, he's just got to wait to count down. Jaquay Carter signaled pitting in once again, but he does so significantly different than any other driver in the field. He's gone in about 15 laps earlier than even the drivers who go in early. River Page still there in 4th. Chase Schaefer still P3. All the while, Jacob Wilkerson looks to get the lead, still 0.2 of a second behind. That difference is all but nothing. And across more than 100 laps, across more than an hour of racing, the difference still being this small is unbelievable. 57 laps to go is still an awful lot of time for Wilkerson to make a lunge. Just one turn, just one mistake could cost Daniel Mosteller everything. This is not only the race lead, but a championship chance. The cost is perhaps the title. 7 points across these two. The 87, 1/10.5 away from finishing it off and getting dead even with Wilkerson. The cost for him to lose would be to give Wilkerson the advantage he needs to clinch the title in Las Vegas. It's a one-on-one, and who else to do it but the best drivers all throughout the season. Mosteller is a 4-time race winner. His biggest weakness so far in this season has been his playoff performance, in which he has still been end over end the second best driver. But the problem is he hasn't gotten to victory lane, and almost as if he's taken the role of Aiden Walker there, taking those podiums, and yet he hasn't found the top spot of the podium. That is what he's struggling with right now. And on the flip side, Jacob Wilkerson has not been the best driver all season long. He's been quick, and by no means has he been a slouch on the track, but the problem for Jacob Wilkerson comes into this. He has simply put not been able to go out there and win consistently. He has one big win, and that's the one that's propelled him all the way up into this point from almost being a non-factor for the title to a true contender. And now Jacob working off that momentum and collecting top 5 after top 5. That's the here and now. He's got to go for it, and he has to make something happen. He doesn't want that momentum to fade, because if it fades tonight, very unlikely it comes back. Now it's a game of coming and going, of the do or die. 53 laps to go. Meanwhile, you look a little bit further back. Let's talk about drivers who are not all about the do or die. Well, let's talk about one that's not. That's Yahir Rodriguez. And Rodriguez, for a rookie, has been remarkable in his limited attempts. And we say limited for a reason, because we really haven't seen all too much of Rodriguez. It's almost as if some nights he's quick, he gets off to a good start, and we don't see him finish the race. He is still, by all accounts, a driver to look out for in the future. Perhaps one of the up-and-comers of the series, but Rodriguez makes a major error there. He's going to let Aiden Walker go, and a mistake like that, luckily not costing him more than just a position, driving nearly out of control, only to recover himself all at once. So Yahir now going to be alone in the 7th spot rather than fighting with company. Now you look back, Christian Delgado might have another driver to look out for. Delgado, number 13, is now 9th. 8th place is going to be then from there, Nathan Palawada. Toe-to-toe, the battle remains, of course, just between these two. Christian Delgado now looking for the highest spot he's running all night long. Previously was up there in 9th and might have a chance to take that spot back again. All in all, a great race for Delgado. Another driver who we're hoping to see more of, and maybe one of those rookies to look out for in the future. Christian drops low. Palawada has the high side. It looks like he took it by his own volition, but it doesn't work out to keep the spot just yet. Christian Delgado once again going far low, and it looks like making the spot up going to be pretty simple there. The number 13 gets away. Even the momentum coming off the higher grooves doesn't really pan out in Nathan Palawada's favor, and as a result, currently, number 13 is up and ahead. Daniel Mosteller got the race lead. 10th and a half. That's all it is. Last 4 laps, taking a look at the driver telemetry again, it'll show you the difference has been marginal, and really there's no ups or downs to it. Yes, it looks like maybe a bit of a gain from lap 151 to 152, but that's a small difference when you think about it here. These two drivers in each other's toe, nobody else around them. A gain of a few hundreds might just come down to being slightly more aggressive on the last 2 turns relative to the next driver. Now this is serious. Here comes Jacob Wilkerson, and he's got himself diving low. Daniel Mosteller gives him the shot, and it looks like the number 43 is going to take it. Wilkerson still not clear here. Daniel Mosteller going to decide to sweep to the bottom, but he cannot make the move. Wilkerson takes the race lead with 46 laps to go. Demos gets crossed up, and now Wilkerson has total control of the situation. Talk about a flip up. Wilkerson's on top, and Daniel Mosteller now is going to need to resort to strategy for one final blow. So Demos really not going to be in the best spot. All things considered, Chase Schaefer, Jacob Wilkerson, well, now they're going to be separate, 1st and 3rd. Demos might get swallowed up there by the number 99. We'll see what Mosteller does. He cannot lose traction, though, of this lead fight. If he does so, well, he might really find himself all out of sorts, but you can see he's slowly getting closer to Chase Schaefer, and Chase Schaefer is not getting closer to Jacob Wilkerson. So the 87 now on the down and down, and Wilkerson is on the up and up. Reminder, when it comes to the most laps led, River Page has led 115 on the night. So, alongside getting that pole position, alongside getting a lap led, 115 laps, the most on the day. That's the award that goes to River Page, and he will get himself another bonus point. And as long as he stays inside the podium, I'll tell you this much, he's in a real attractive spot to go out there and win this points race. That's all for 2 weeks' time, though. River's got to keep on fighting, and it looks like the job is nowhere near complete. Now we're seeing drivers come down to pit road. You might have noticed that Chase Schaefer just went down and in as he fell outside the top 10. Now he decides to come through and come back out on the way. One more pit stop left with about 40 laps to go. Wilkerson and Mosteller eventually are going to have to bow down and in. So with Daniel Mosteller here keeping himself in second, it might just come down to whether or not he makes a risky play on pit road. Be it a two-stop strategy, be it a little bit less fuel in the tank, there's still a chance for him to come away ahead of Jacob Wilkerson. But don't be fooled when we say that he'll come out ahead, because if he comes out ahead, it does not mean he'll have an advantage. Sometimes the newer tire means a little bit more than track position, and I need to balance that game out. Whether or not you think having the extra rubber is the right way to go, or whether or not having the extra seconds is the right way to go. And typically, well, you see something like 20 seconds. That might be the best way to go about it. 20 seconds is 20 seconds. We've seen it once happen before where a full lap was not enough to stay ahead of a driver. Only once, however, and that driver has graduated to the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, the top level in sim racing. So that was really one of its kind, and we haven't seen that again. Something like 5 seconds is debatable. We've seen drivers frequently lose 5-second leads based on alternate strategy. That is not a safe bet, but Daniel Mosteller decides to come down in first, and it looks like he's going to make the call and decide to take himself in before anyone else does so. So dropping through, Daniel Mosteller going to keep himself on the move. 38 laps to go, and he's got himself on the pit road. Jacob Wilkerson and Jackson Carr. Yahir Rodriguez, 1, 2, 3, cautions out! And the reason, well, it looks to be some trouble. Well, let's find out why. Jaquay Carter gets away. It looked like a slow Reese Evans. And the yellow flag will fly. Take a look at this one. We'll figure out what just caused it, as with 37 laps to go, got a little bit of a hiccup in the race pace. Take a look at this. So taking a look across the track, Nathan Palawana and company look to be clean. Aaron Schugel as well. Chase Schaefer right there. And as the yellow flag flew, drivers coming to that standstill. Andres Varas, Jaquay Carter. There's Reese Evans. Looks like all in all the drivers who we were looking at the front of the field came off just fine. Yellow flag is out though. And now just trying to get an official reading as to who was where at the time of the wreck. Take a look one more time here with Henry Kaloff, who looks to have just barely missed the circumstance. And taking a look for the overhead, you might see just what happened here. Taking a look at the top of the track, there was a very slow driver, and it looks like that just might have been Andres Varas. So the 82 coming through turns 3 and 4. Taking a look here, he and Jaquay Carter look to have gotten slowed down the back straight one more time. Take a look at this. And there it was, the incident at hand. Christian Delgado was the man involved. So Delgado going to go around sliding. Here's the official race replay of your most recent incident, the third of the night here. Delgado going to find himself involved. We'll see if he was at fault. Contact from Schaefer. And pretty clearly, Chase Schaefer just wanted to dispose of him there. And that'll send Delgado sliding down to the apron. Unfortunate for Christian, who didn't seem like he did anything too much in that situation. Just got shunted out the way. Caution is out. So timing and scoring will say Jacob Wilkerson's at front, and it looks like that indeed is the case. It'll be Wilkerson, Delgado, Bogdan, Walker, Jackson Carr. And it looks like a major flip up here. Someone like Daniel Mosteller just went down to pit road under green. So we'll have the cycle complete very soon and figure out who exactly is where momentarily. Before that point, though, we'll bring you a brief non-stop interruption. Kind of ironic, but we will not be interrupting your viewing. Take a look at the left side of your screen momentarily, and you'll see the advertisements of all of our associates who help bring the action to you. But on the right side, you'll still see drivers pacing as we organize our field for another run. With 35 laps to go, you're watching the Field of Dreams 200, and we'll return right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Wilkerson's got control, and the new tire brigade is looking a little bit different. Take a look at the left side of your screen right now on the right end of the ticker, and you'll see that right now there's a little bit of variation. A lot of drivers here who just went down to pit road, a few of which who just did, who are still at a disadvantage here. Daniel Mosteller, River Page, Chase Schaefer notably going to be further back, while Jacob Wilkerson not only has the position, he's also got the tire. iRacing pace car is going to pull down and in, and Jacob Wilkerson's going to get going, gassing it up. Here comes Yahir Rodriguez. Here comes Christian Delgado, but there's no match for the number 43. Wilkerson bolts out to an amazing start with 32 to go. Rodriguez now right behind him. Hornets Nest gets away clean, it looks like, for the most part anyway. Daniel Mosteller going to be right behind Schaefer, and then Jackson Carr. Everyone looks good for now. Oh, contact! Vincent Guecci, Daniel Mosteller, both saving it at race pace. How about that? Nobody even loses a position, and they're still fighting against each other for a spot. Unbelievable job for both, but still going to be pretty antsy here. Demos trying to go at it with Hunter Bogdan. Meanwhile, Jacob Wilkerson right now dealing with a completely different group up in front, and they're not giving him any trouble. And it looks like everything fell perfectly now for Jacob Wilkerson. All things considered, it looks like he's got himself the track position, and drivers who are not going to give him as much a challenge in getting all the way to the checkered flag here. And that's not to discredit the drivers he's around right now, but admittedly, looks pretty different from what we saw before. You're not seeing Schaefer, you're not seeing Page, you're not seeing Mosteller. What you are seeing is a driver who's having his career best run in Yahir Rodriguez, and with 29 laps to go, that's an achievement in itself. Rodriguez right now in the 16, running as highest as he's ever been in his IORA Cup Series career. What could be podium number 1 for the number 16? It could come tonight. Aiden Walker right now going to be running in third, and again, he's just off the race lead. It looks like he finds himself just off of what he needs, and being shy of that by so little, you gotta wonder, can he pull it together? Aiden Walker right now, I feel, still has an opportunity to win based on what we're seeing. He is close, and alongside that, he has the pace. Very little time remains though, and it looks like with that distance ever so slightly decreasing, comes to the checkered flag, the caution flies again. Back of the field going to be the cause here, and it looks like again Christian Delgado. Yellow flag is out, and Delgado going to get in the tail end of this one as the caution flies once more. So Christian involved in your fourth caution of the day. Looks like Daniel Mosteller and Chase Schaefer here. Christian Delgado and Chase Schaefer. This looks pretty familiar. Up the track. I'd be hard-pressed to say that wasn't intentional. Oh, when it collects River Page. We got some beef on the circuit. We're going to take a quick look live to see if these two are going to be jostling each other on the track. Something tells me we're going to see that. Oh, Vincent Guecci and Chase Schaefer going at it, and we got a third party involved. Schaefer not making friends. Here comes Guecci. Well, Guecci stays out, but they made contact. As for Chase Schaefer, he'll come down and in, and it looks like some battle is being fought on the racetrack, just not in the racing form. Nevertheless, drivers come down to pit road here, and many of which started outside the top 10 that time by. Aiden Walker brings the company through, and so we'll see who gets out and ahead. Jacob Wilkerson leads with 25 laps to go. Chase Schaefer not having the best of nights here, getting involved in scuffles. We'll keep an eye on what's going on with the beef on circuit as we go to another promotional break. Thanking our partners live on FTN for bringing the coverage to you. We'll return right after this, and you won't miss one lap on your green. Winner off of pit road and clear. It's Aiden Walker, and Daniel Mosteller gets ahead just before Chase Schaefer. We'll be right back after this.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
Returning with just 22 laps to go under green. We're going to crank it up as always with 22 laps remaining, and this is for the final time in 2024. Shout out to our camera partners at TrackCams22.com, bringing you these amazing camera angles all year long, from January to December, and every race we've had in between. We can't thank them enough for their support, and we look forward to coming back in 2025 with their support. With that said, we're going to get loud one final time in this year and bring you back the best sights and sounds in the planet, in the country, in Iowa. Let's get loud from the Speedway in Newton. The cornfields come alive again. 22 laps to go. Let's crank it up with TrackCams22.com. Cautioned out and crank it up postponed. Delgado for the third straight caution. He's getting real banged up there on the track tonight. That is no doubt. Here's a look again. So with the front of the field getting away, no sweat. You see what happens here with Christian Delgado. Oh, there's Chase Schaefer. Again. Are you serious? It looks like they're going at each other. There's really no purpose to be seeing any of that between these two drivers. It's practically useless given where they both are in the championship standings. I mean, Schaefer here is still a top 10 contender, and Delgado is hardly in the mix of anything points related. It's really looking like uselessness for both of them to be going at each other like that. Unfortunately, that's what it comes down to, and right now, they're still keeping each other rather close, which I think is the worst of it. It's the third incident they've been involved in, and they've caused more than half the cautions tonight in what's been an otherwise very clean race. With that being said, we move on and hopefully see a little bit less of that as the caution is out one more time. 20 laps to go, and sooner rather than later, we'll see the checkered flag regardless of what's happening. Michael Deitch, end-of-line penalty, going to be given to the number 17. He'll restart at the back of the field, and so it looks like no trouble for Deitch to get back to the tail end. He is currently on pit road. .20 laps remaining. Jacob Wilkerson still on top. Notable gains have been made for Schaefer up to 6th. Daniel Mosteller is up to 9th. Vincent Guecci is P4. Yahir Rodriguez still up inside the top 3. But Jim Thurston now 2nd might be the underdog to take it away from the championship contenders who are up and in front. We'll go green with 17 laps remaining here. So, time still running out. Schaefer might be the next best to go up there and fight for it, but he's got to get up to someone like, of course, the 96 of Thurston. Moments away from getting the green flag again. Yellow flag fly now for the 5th time on the night. Weather conditions are a little bit different from when we began, so let's talk about that briefly. 70 degrees Fahrenheit is the ambient temperature. Track temp, it's coming in at currently 73 degrees Fahrenheit. 46.9%. The relative humidity has increased about 3% across the event, and still partly cloudy skies. However, the sun has set, and so we're not really seeing much of that sky any longer. Instead, the lights of the Iowa Speedway are keeping things bright here in the Field of Dreams. It's time again with 17 laps to go for a restart, and we've been long awaiting it. IORA Cup Series, the championship might come down to a Jacob Wilkerson win, the likes of which we could not have possibly predicted when Talladega, our regular season finale, came to a close. Daniel Mosteller is up into the 3rd row now. Jim Thurston up to the front row. We're going to try for a crank it up again. Thank you once more to TrackCams22.com, iRacing's leading camera provider, the best in the business by far. And a far and large advantage for TrackCams22.com, as only the best broadcasters choose the best cameras. And so, stick with us as we're going to get back at it again, presenting live and loud the uncut sounds from the Iowa Speedway. Green flags out. Wilkerson once again gets away. Caution is out. Yellow flag and a fly again. Looks like an incident in the back of the field. Caused this time by, well, looks like Christian Delgado got away, but you saw there some damage further on back. Looks like Jacque Carter going to be banged up. Here's the instant replay. So as our Crank It Up comes to a close, you'll see what happens with the race leaders side by side. Thurston now has the edge. Carter up in the wall, contact. He'll go sliding in Aaron Schugel, into Nathan Palawada, into Reese Evans. Talk about a chain reaction. Caution's out with 15 laps to go, and another quickie brings us back to a standstill. Unfortunately, this one was a major incident, and it collected quite a few. This is a saving grace for Daniel Mosteller. Look at him up to 3rd. Look at Jim Thurston up to 1st. For the first time in some 25 laps, Wilkerson is facing any semblance of pressure, and he is not liking it in the slightest. The North Force machine, a victory could have been a ticket to the championship race with a huge advantage. Now his championship rival is right behind him. River Page is still in 9th, and Aiden Walker, well, Walker right now is going to be in the mix in 7th. So it's still going to be rather close. Matter of fact, River Page is pulling up to his spot. He will be starting this run in 4th. Going to be a tricky one now. Wilkerson has not been left alone, and one last time, he's going to be reminded of the fact it's not going to be a quick fight for the title. With the field's best drivers again put together, it's going to be Jacob Wilkerson, Daniel Mosteller, and lastly, River Page, all as one. Chase Schaefer going to put himself together again. Looks like no incident this time by with Christian Delgado, but they're starting right with each other. So it's going to be Delgado ahead of Chase Schaefer this time by. We'll see if it works out well. Unfortunately, so far tonight, it really has not. And it looks like, again, we might see a little bit of the tempers flaring coming into play with some 13 laps remaining. 11 laps to go, by the way, when we go green here. So coming to the tail end, now it's crunch time. Everyone's gotten their chances, their yellow flags to reset and lock in for this run. And now with our 6th caution today, there really is no turning back from here. There could be, however, pushing forward. There is still the possibility, of course, that we see multiple yellow flags, which, of course, are going to come down to overtime finishes. If you get a yellow flag after the 5 lap to go point, after lap 195, then we'll have ourselves, of course, quite the issue. That's going to be an overtime issue. 3 attempts still available. One lap remaining, 12 laps to go. Jim Thurston and Jacob Wilkerson in your front row. Daniel Mosteller just behind. The usual suspects are once again at the front of the field. For Thurston, if he wants this championship, he needs to win tonight. He would need to win in Las Vegas. It is do or die now for that number 96. He's got to go for it, and he has to go all the way from here. The victory is just the first step, and he's going to have to take it for any shot as the green flag flies. Here we go with Thurston up and away. Mosteller and Wilkerson battling each other, and Demos lunging to the inside, but Thurston has the race lead. Jim Thurston getting everything he needs. Daniel Mosteller getting everything he wants. The 87 gets by the 43, but River Page now has a chance to go for it. Here comes River, the dark horse, coming in 17 points back in the championship. He's led the most laps today. He gets by Wilkerson. Now he's got a shot to go through on River Page. A calm and collected pass for third doesn't mean he's got all that he needs to go out there and get the runner-up spot. Currently, though, he is lined up to maybe take it. He's got himself in good position to now look for an opportunity and look for the opening. Jim Thurston, though, is going to lose the race lead if the 87 gets what he wants. Now Thurston facing the heat. Daniel Mosteller looking to the inside, cuts low, takes the top spot, and Demos is ahead, looking for win number 5. In comparison to River Page, who so far has led 115 laps tonight, Demos has led 27, and Jim Thurston has led 8. And now they're up there, up in front, first and second, while Page, the dominant man, keeps himself just behind. Granted, River Page really shooting himself into the conversation with a great lunge on Wilkerson. Thurston in the wall, and Jim Thurston shoots his teammate down the track, but it's not enough to stop him. River gets away. Wilkerson now right behind him, and Jacob needs to get this pass on River quick if he wants any shot at the race win. Again, Page to open up FTN's 2024 calendar, won at this track with that very paint scheme and was able to get the job done in a last stage turn of events. The last few laps of the event went his way, and that was all he needed to collect the checkered flag. With 6 laps to go, Rivers still has a shot, but does the shot in the arm, that massive pass over the 43, give him all he needs to pass the 87? Because Mosteller, more than ever, is determined to finish it off in his own way. 6th up to 1st. 8th up to 3rd for Wilkerson, but now Jacob is facing trouble, and it looks like it's going to come in the form of Aiden Walker. The 93 out of nowhere is fighting for the podium, and Aiden will not be denied. Walker getting ahead now of Jacob Wilkerson would be huge for both drivers, but it's huge in a negative direction for Jacob because Walker, of all drivers, has been silent today. 4 laps to go, and that has changed big time. Daniel Mosteller still ever so slightly holds the advantage here. He's got himself the race lead. It's about 0.2 of a second, but River Page is still right there if push comes to shove. Moreover, Chase Schaefer now getting up to Jacob Wilkerson has put the number 43 even further behind. And Wilkerson, banking on so many caution laps there, had slightly older rubber than all the drivers around him. Take a look at the ticker once again, and you'll see how long these drivers have run on their tire. Wilkerson, 12 extra laps. Meanwhile, Aiden Walker is the youngest rubber of anyone in this fight. He still has a chance to win, even though he runs still here in 3rd. Daniel Mosteller up and in front, 2 laps remaining. River Page here in the number 24. All he has to do now is back himself up for the last lap and try to go for the win. Right now, Page has already run perhaps the best race of anyone tonight. He's gotten all the bonus points. He just needs to finish inside the podium, and he'll be toe-to-toe with Demos for the championship. 1 lap to go. The final lap flies. Wilkerson and Schaefer fight for the podium. It's these two, Page and Mosteller, for the race win. Demos through turns 1 and 2. No competition. Now Mosteller sends it to the inside, giving River Page no choice but to lunge up top. Mosteller, confident in his decision, blocks to the high side. That is all he needs. Daniel Mosteller wins in Iowa, and the Field of Dreams brings Daniel Mosteller that much closer to completing a dream years in the making. Demos will go into Las Vegas as the championship favorite as he looks for his 3rd IORA Cup Series title. Mosteller wins, Page 2nd, Chase Schaefer 3rd. And Mosteller begins the celebration. Demos blows the motor rather quickly, unfortunately, so it looks like his championship, well, of course, fight is still on, but the celebration tonight, it's over. With that being said, what a victory for the number 87, and a clutch one at that to bring him even closer to the title. Daniel Mosteller wins 83 thousandths of a second behind River Page, keeping it close, but just not enough. Then you got Chase Schaefer 3rd and Jacob Wilkerson 4th, with Aiden Walker 5th. Henry Katloff in 6th, and Jackson Carr then in P7. Christian Delgado comes away in 8th tonight. Vincent Guecci 9th, and Yahir Rodriguez, the rookie, comes 4th in P10. Then from there, you've got the 11th place driver, and that is going to be Aaron Schugel. 12th place is going to be Nathan Palawada. 13th is Jacque Carter. Andres Forrest in 14th. Jimmy Thurston is 15th. Hunter Bogdan 16th. Michael Deitch 17th. Reese Evans 18th. Corey Lyles and Jason Sametto, the final 2 drivers in the field tonight. We're going to speak first and foremost to your race winner, Daniel Mosteller and get a word from all your top 3 drivers. Stay tuned. We're going to bring that number 87 into the broadcast booth right about now. Coming in 8 points behind Jacob Wilkerson for the championship lead. A victory tonight wasn't win or go home, but it's a huge advantage going into Las Vegas, and now you'll have the advantage as you now are searching for your 3rd championship in the IORA Cup Series. Demos, what a win. It's a huge one for you, and the chance for the title is even closer now.
This is a big win, and quite frankly, I had this circled as a must-win. I felt like this was my last good shot at really closing back in on Wilkerson because of how good he is on the intermediate tracks. And I know that I've been strong on the short tracks, so I had to take advantage here. And didn't look good early. I had the really poorly timed yellow, and I thought my race was over, and that was my hopes over. But I made the gamble to take tires with about 30 to go, and me and River, we charged up through the field, and we were able to settle it amongst ourselves. I appreciate him racing me clean there, because he was definitely faster than me. But we both gained in on the big picture, which was to maximize points on Wilkerson. So we'll go into Vegas, Vegas with a shot at the title, which is all you could ask for compared to last season. 1 point lead going in, just gotta beat him. Just gotta beat him on track next week, or in 2 weeks.
It's practically dead even. As you said, the 1 point is going to give you that slight upper hand here. So, Las Vegas, that's up next. How are you going to feel about setting yourself up for the last chance to win, knowing it's going to be practically do or die against the 43?
Yeah, I'm just gonna... It's gonna sound crazy, but I really think I'm gonna need to just do what he does, basically. As long as he doesn't get the pole or lead any laps, just gotta copy what he does, basically, and just be within a spot of him. Obviously, simple terms is go win the race, but I know I haven't been the best on the intermediate tracks, but anything can happen, and tonight definitely proved that anything can happen. You don't have to be the fastest to win. Just gotta be lucky and be in the right place at the right time.
Daniel Mosteller, major victory tonight, keeping it all tied up for our last race of the IORA Cup Series season, coming in 2 weeks' time. With that said, any final messages as we're going to move on to the new year for one last chance?
Yeah, thank you for broadcasting. Thanks, Mason, for off-tracking as always. Everyone for racing. Fun racing with the River there at the end again. I appreciate him for racing me clean. Both closed in on the bigger picture, and I think we're both going to be looking pretty good going into Vegas. Just got to finish the job, and we'll enjoy the win tonight.
Demos gets the job done. Major victory night here in the Iowa Speedway. The 87 coming home on top. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Daniel Mosteller gets away with the race victory. We'll speak now to your second place finisher, River Page, who might have not come away with the race win, but he'll come away with an amazing night, pole position, most laps led, and a second place finish. River, even though you might not find yourself toe-to-toe on points with Mosteller or Wilkerson, you won't be far back when we go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, man, that was just really just a topsy-turvy race. Kind of embarrassing what I did there while I just had that comfortable lead. Just completely missed pit road, and I was kind of screwed from there on. If we went green, I was far behind. I kind of accepted that, and then we got a caution, and I got the lead, but I had damage from when I hit the wall after I missed pit road inexplicably, and I just really tore my stuff up. I was driving mad, and I was just making mistakes, and so I was like 4th or 5th, and then I pit, and I was like 16th or something like that, and I got wrecked again. I was just some really, really kind of, I hate to say it, but there's some really bad driving today, and I got caught up in some of those antics. And I was outside of the top 10, and me and Demos and Walker and Chase pit with us, but they had stuff happen. But me and Demos came out right next to each other, and we got the most lucky pass to the lead. We were passing people, and the caution would come out, so we kept all our spots, and then we would restart behind each other, and the caution would come out, and so eventually we ended up right there. behind Thurston. The restart really didn't work out how I wanted it to. But we were third and fourth, and just me getting wrecked put me there. I wouldn't have pit if I didn't get wrecked. So I don't know. That was just some really kind of insane luck. And at the end, we had like 5 lap fresher tires, so we had that little advantage. And Thurston was just really searching for the grip on the outside, and he just kind of gave us the spot there. He tried to sabotage me by hitting the wall on his own. And then me and Demos kind of just decided that we would just run it out, maybe battle it clean if we could, but just take the first and second. So we both beat the people that we needed to beat. I'm happy with second. I wish I could have won. I had so much speed at the beginning, but I don't know. It's a fun race, and I ended up second, so I really can't be mad.
It's still a big race for you, many cautions those last 30-some laps, and you find yourself outside, or rather very close to outside the top 10 with that time to spare, only making it up to second in the last 20-some lap run that we had. So how was it for you to make those positions up quickly, even with not a lot of green flag time?
Yeah, well, I there were so many yellows, I don't even really have like a timeline in my head. I don't really know what happened, but I ended up like... Oh my God, hold on. Okay, sorry. I was like 15th or something, and we were behind a bunch of people that I thought were going to end up kind of screwing us over, and I just had that tire advantage. So, and I know I was fast. I knew how to make passes, and there were some questionable drivers in front of us that were kind of struggling. So me and Demos were just kind of cutting up right there, and then there was one caution where like 3 or 4 people in front of us chose the outside. And just let me and Demos restart like 3rd and 4th on the inside as opposed to like 6th and 7th. So that really helped. And then we were just making passes. We had the tire advantage, so just a little tire advantage with this car means a lot. And we had the pace. I think we were probably the 2 fastest cars. Maybe Chase was quicker for like the majority of the race, and then Wilkerson was up there. And I kind of feel bad for Wilkerson, honestly, because he was going to win probably, and he got lucky with the caution that kept him in the lead, and then he just kept getting screwed over and over with the cautions, and we were able to beat those guys. But just the cautions really saved us, and like we would make passes, and then we just let us reset and start gaining more spots. So
now, Las Vegas, last one left when it comes to the championship standings. Mathematically, anyway, you still have yourself a shot, but it's going to come down to almost perfection when it comes down to it. You're pretty close tonight. How are you feeling about your chances in Sin City?
I like my chances as opposed to pretty much any other track. I mean, I've been good at Homestead before, but I really like Las Vegas. I'm really excited for that race. No matter where I finish, I know it's going to be fun. I need to do what I did here, which I kind of shocked myself by getting the pole and then leading. I mean, I'm sure I led the most laps, so I really just need to execute like that. I think if I can it'd be really hard to do. I think it'd be harder to do than here, but if I can, max points it, get the fastest lap to add to the pole and the lap sled, I definitely have a chance. I just need to basically go and win out or have some luck on my side, which it seems like I kind of had the horseshoe up my butt this race, so maybe I can take that there to Las Vegas and we'll have ourselves a chance. But I'm in the top 3, just need to finish there, get a payout and keep the streak alive. Never finish outside of the top 3 in the championship, so I'm hoping that doesn't snap this week. Just need to not wreck, and I just need to race smart. I think I can give myself a good chance.
And now, one last chance. River Page, second on the day. Any final comments or shout-outs you'd like to give? The floor is yours.
Just a shout out to FTN as usual, and Flopper Racing, Haggard Electrical, Power Smash, Finny Speed Motorsports, and Mason. He really had his hands full today with all the stuff that was going on, all the antics from the drivers. But he did a good job, and always we always have a good race. Shout out to the drivers. I had a good time despite how the end looked. It was really fun. So just shout out to everyone that made it enjoyable.
With more than 100 laps led on the day, River Page, bonus points, and a second-place finish here from the Iowa Speedway. Thank you again for stopping by.
Thank you.
River Page on the way. One more driver, number 99 of Chase Schaefer, third across the board. And it does not look like he's currently available. We'll figure out exactly what's going on and if Chase Schaefer can stop by for an interview. Unfortunately, though, looks like he might have just left the sim rig for the night. So with that said, one last call in. If he's not available, we'll try to get him in next week. Chase Schaefer gets the job done for third place, coming through from where he started and finished in P3. He's not available tonight. We'll get him in next week. Nonetheless, to wrap up the final podium of the year and the penultimate race of the season, it's Chase Schaefer in third, second place in River Page, and your race winner in Daniel Mosteller, the number 87, coming home on top. One more race. 3 drivers still up in it. It's a real close battle, and the championship is narrow as it can be. Stay tuned for our next event. It's going to be a barn burner. January 2nd, 2025, Las Vegas, IORA Cup Series, Season 6 finale. From tonight, though, you've been watching coverage from the virtual Iowa Speedway, and this has been the Field of Dreams 200. For the IORA Cup Series, this is our last race of the year, race 14 of Season 6, and I've been your commentator and producer all night long, David Kreutz. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. As it stands, this is scheduled as our final iRacing broadcast of the year. We'd like to thank once again all of our viewers for their continued support over the past few years as we've continued to grow to new heights. If you enjoyed and would like to become part of the fun, our community Discord is open. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to have you stop by. It's free to enter. Scan the QR code on your screen or check out the description. We thank you dearly for your continued support and can't wait to come back in 2025, new and improved. We've got a lot looking forward to bring to all of our viewers. Thank you again for your continued viewership and support. You've been watching the IORA Cup Series. Congratulations to Daniel Mosteller on his victory. We hope you have a fantastic night.